Okay guys, so today we're gonna do a video again, because I have to sort of keep them rolling. And I think it's time that I talk about glucose. But I thought it'd be a really great subject to talk about because I got an inbox from a woman who was like, you have to do a video about glucose. And I'm like, but I've done a video about glucose. In fact, I've done many videos. But at the same time, when people are trying to understand inflammation, understand the business, right? This is the business at almost 48. Yes. It's so cool to be able to live decade after decade after decade, kind of like being 28 over and over and over again, because I still got energy. Okay, enough of that. Here we go. So what's the deal? Now people are finally getting it. Don't use breathalyzers. Do not use urine strips. Do not use a blood monitor. Yes, prick your finger on the sides. Yes, and test your blood values. Okay. So the reason why the sugars are it's actually so much more important to really understand your blood glucose, your sugars, than your ketones in essence. So here's what's interesting. There's these companies, one's called Prove It, and one's called Ketopia, and they're a big, fat waste of money. Sorry guys, I gotta tell the truth, and I've been telling the truth the entire time. These two companies tout that you can get in ketosis within hours, but that's, again, a big, fat lie. Because your glucose. You can try to bump your ketones up, which is what this product touts that they are able to achieve, is to bump your ketones. But if your glucose is high because of stress, and stress can manifest in poor sleep, stress can manifest in inflammation, stress can manifest in allergies, overtraining, undertraining, being insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, depressed, adrenal overload, thyroid issues, cancer, just basic inflammation in the body. It doesn't matter. If I walk into a wall, and there's pounding inflammation, that's going to spike my blood glucose because I'm going to go into the fight or flight syndrome or the mode immediately. So the glucose is quite telling. It's very interesting. In fact, I think that everybody should have a blood glucose monitor in their home in the beginning, because I do not like to quantify the body in numbers, right? But in the very, very beginning, of you trying to understand what your health is, understanding that glucose is very powerful to see where your inflammation is or your stress. Every time that you say fuck, or bump the elbow, or get into an argument, or have poor sleep, your blood glucose spikes. Bad food, bad attitude, drugs, pharmaceuticals, your job, sitting too long, it all can spike your glucose. So every time I coach someone and they're emailing me, why am my sugars sucking? And I'm like, well, I explained it very clearly in the consultation that every single thing that you do can spike your sugars. Everything. Everything that puts your body under stress. Now, like I've said before, we can be in the sympathetic, which is on, buttons on all day. Or we can be in the parasympathetic state of more relaxation. But you can't be relaxed all day. You got to be in the sympathetic and the parasympathetic in the right balance. Here's a problem. Women get home from work, or women who are already at home, or home mom, or if you work from home, your day really starts cranking at 5 p.m. That's not good. Because at 5 p.m., you're supposed to get into that parasympathetic state. But if you start cranking up and start like, "Hey kids," and if you start getting on the phone or getting on your computer or jamming around your home, then that glucose via cortisol, instead of it getting down into that parasympathetic level, it starts cranking up the cortisol and cranking up and cranking up. And cortisol is designed to raise your blood glucose so you can run from a lion. Run, 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 run. So you're running from a lion when you should be chilling? You want to know why your blood glucose is spiking? It's not that hard. Everybody thinks that they're so chill, but you're not. You're not chill. You've got that freaking A personality. You're like wound up. Our eyes are like camera lenses, and they can see everything peripherally. They can actually take in 400 billion bits of information per second. But our visual cortex and our brain can only understand 2,000 bits of that information. So whatever you think you're experiencing or think that you are, I don't know, if you think you're objective, there's always that huge unfortunate gap for subjectivity. What you think you know, you may not know. How you think you feel, you may not feel. For example, coffee. I just love the aroma. I love the taste. I love the routine of it. People say the same thing about cigarettes. Is what it is. But let's be honest here. Your cells become addicted. Your cells become addicted to the caffeine that is secreted by the overstimulation of your adrenal glands with adrenaline. So you get that bump, but then you crash. And then you need another cup. But in your mind you're like, I only want to keep it to 1 cup a day, or I only want to keep it to 5 cups a day. The problem is that you're training your body to spike glucose. So we have all these mechanisms to raise blood glucose, but we only have one thing to bring it down, and that's your insulin. But your insulin's not working well. Why, pray tell? Because prior to doing keto, you messed up your adrenal glands. Probably messed up everything, but the adrenals are a big part of it. And I remember saying, the adrenals, that's not a very sexy subject to talk about. But I have to. I mean, we could talk about the business, yes. But that's just a visual aid for you guys to understand that this is not genetics, this is epigenetics. And I've had to tinker with my DNA and my individualized genetics to get this body in ketosis. It's a process. Seems like a lot of you guys just don't understand that it's not going to happen overnight. And your blood glucose is going to spike. So you can take your little prove it and your little crappy Ketopia, but that stuff doesn't work. Because if you're still stressed, if you still have a gut dysbiosis, if you've got leaky gut, if you've got an inflammation somewhere that you're not aware of, if you're not sleeping, your glucose is going to spike because it's primed for that. And then the brain goes, well, look, there's my crack cocaine pipe. So then, where do those ketones go? Down the toilet. So I don't care if you use a blood glucose monitor and you can see ketones register. That doesn't matter. Because if your glucose is too high, those ketones become unusable. Now, you might be able to use a little bit, but that's why people don't feel a little body fat change, or they don't have like energy. Nope, they don't have it. They still crash. They have that postprandial slump after lunch, that mid-afternoon slump of energy, crash. Yep. Now, if you have all these mechanisms to bring up your glucose, why are you crashing? So you can see that there's these horrible blood sugar dysregulations. 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down, the next minute you're up. Cortisol's breaking down muscle, skin under the neck, skin below your belly button, skin on the tricep, and muscle, and converting it into glucose via gluconeogenesis, the breakdown of amino acids in your body. And it can do it in 3 minutes. Boom! Booyaka! So every thought, every action, everything you eat, and everything that you do matters. So a woman on my Facebook wall, she was like, why am I not in ketosis? I gained a pound. No, she said she gained 2 pounds after losing the 16. Well, we all know when you first do keto, you're losing muscle, you're losing water. Mostly water. In the beginning. And then she gained 2 pounds. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about you. But I can say, generally speaking, the reason why people might have that loss of water and then they start to gain is that they're not actually in ketosis. They use the urine strips and it says it's purple. They're like, I'm in ketosis. You might have energy for 3 days. You're like, I'm in ketosis, so I have all the symptoms. But then all of a sudden, you don't. And the scale moves. So take your scale and throw it away. I'm tired of these damn scales. Get rid of them. You guys are sick. Yes? I always say, we're like cockroaches. We can live on this planet and toxify our bodies to the umpteenth degree and not die. And you want to know why you gained 2 pounds? Really? Really, really, really? Come on now. It took years of damage. You ain't going to get the business in 2 seconds. No, that's not going to happen. All good things come to those who are patient, and who are strict, and who are disciplined, and who don't complain. Here, you have to change your personality to change your body. So all these stupid products and toys and biohacking crap, what's going to change your attitude? Yeah? You can't buy your body at the store. You can't buy good emotions and good vibes and energy at the store. You have to change. You have to work on it. You have to go 1 day at a time. And you got to make it happen. Yes. So, why does your glucose spike? Because of stress. And it can manifest in a million ways. One of the biggest reasons why people have too high glucose in the morning is because they don't sleep well. They think they sleep well because they're asleep. But you're not reaching the 5th level of sleep, REM state. You gotta have like 21 dreams a week, not 2. That's one reason. But what about your glucose throughout the day? Does that matter? So let's say if you get your glucose under 80 milligrams per deciliter, or 4.4 for people who use millimolars for glucose, you want your glucose to be within 10 points. But if you're a 79, 89 is going to be a bit high, so you want it to be more like, if your glucose is 79, you want it to be within 5-7 points, milligrams per deciliter. And millimolars for, if you're like at a 4.4 in the morning, you don't want to go higher than a 4.9. You actually want to be more towards a 4.6. You test your glucose after lunch. Do it 1 time. An hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. See if it goes up. It should go back down, guys. Chill out. Your evening glucose should drop. Time's going by so fast. Your evening glucose should drop to about the fasted state in the morning. So for those who are like, I don't understand what glucose range should I be in. If you are 77 milligrams per deciliter fasted in the morning with your glucose, then you should be about 87 max in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, post-lunch. But when you start hitting above 90, that's not good. It means that you can't control your blood sugar later in the day. So you got to work on it. So you got to get to sleep more. You know, you got to understand if you're absorbing your minerals, your B complex. If your parietal cells are getting your stomach that absorb B complex. Are you taking bone broth soup? Do you have enough fat? Are you getting into that parasympathetic state in the evening? Are you going to bed early? Are you using your blue blockers? Are you getting magnesium? These are things in the middle of the day. Or going iodine. Iodine's a big one. Selenium. Are you getting these minerals? Are you getting these nutrients? Why is your blood glucose jumping around? Okay, guys. Want to learn more about your blood sugar? Go to StephaniePerson.com, Stephanie the Business Person on my Facebook fan page, or Stephanie Ketogenic, and I will do